Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Addiction Solutions with Roselle. So glad that you could join me this week for this episode. We're going to be talking about relationships, but I want to bring everybody up to date. The phase chart that I created was simply the stop signs that individuals who are addicted run through during their addiction. The first one was experimentation. This is to see if you really have an addictive problem. And so after you get out of experimentation and you move on, you will run into legal issues. And if you run through that stop sign, next there's employment issues. If you run through that stop sign, you've got family problems. And so today we're dealing with relationships. So the reason I brought you up to date like that was simply that once we get to the end of the phase chart, if you make that decision that you are addicted and you want to change your life and get better, you've got to go back through all of these things clean. And so it affects the people that use chemicals more than it does gambling. I mean, gambling, yes, it's going to affect you. You got to go through it still without gambling. So whatever made you gamble, it still created feelings. So you still got to go through those feelings without gambling. And so it's the same with eating and sex and all of that. But the drug and alcohol thing is something that family members really don't forget. A lot of them don't forget. It depends on how deep that addiction was. Some of the things you did, some of the things you said. So you've got to face them now without that crutch. So we want to make sure that you understand the people that are addicted and the loved ones who are trying to support their addicted family member. Everybody needs to understand, and I'm saying it again. Everybody needs to understand that going back through this is painful. However, it can be done. So you're looking at an individual that had to go through it. And so now let's look at relationships. Before we really got strung out, we would go to parties. We would go to maybe events after work. And we socialized. And relationships is the key. You know, socialization, being able to have a good time. And so it could be the barbecue, it could be a birthday party, it could be a wedding, it could be an anniversary party, it could be a retirement party. All of the things that you used to do, and people would invite you, now things are a little different because you don't feel as comfortable as you did before. Personally, myself, when that alcohol and those drugs kicked in for real, if I did get invited to something, I'd have to get drunk first before I went, because that way I felt really comfortable. Then when I got there, I had to sit close to the drinks so that my high wouldn't wear off, because if my high wore off, I wouldn't know who I was. And then people could really see me. You know, it gets to the point where you just don't feel comfortable going. So now either people don't invite you or you make up excuses not to go. Now, we dealt with family. Now, family, if you got a spouse, they see it a little closer. And if they took some of the suggestions that we had in the family where they're now getting help, they're going to meetings themselves and they're listening to other people's stories. So now they're able to identify with some of your characteristics. And so now once we get into relationships, we're like, why don't you call so-and-so anymore? Or why don't you go here anymore? Because you feel inadequate. Because now people really see how drunk you are, or how high you are, or how you've let your appearance go down. Yes, you're not going to the barbershop like you used to. Yes, you're not getting your hair done like you used to. You're not getting your nails done like you used to. And people that are close to you, they realize this, and then they start to talking. You know, why is Roselle, what happened to him? He used to be kind of, sharp. He used to dress kind of nice. What's wrong? Did you see him the other day? So my relationships, for me, jumping back to Roselle, for me, my relationships basically were in the dope house because I had really stopped going to bars. I mean, bars were too expensive. My main drug of choice was heroin. So let's get that straight. But I did drink because sometimes drinking would give me the courage to go and do the drugs. But nevertheless, everybody in the dope house was the same. And so for me personally, my relationship was with that pack, the pack of dope. And you know what? The pack of dope talked to me. I mean, literally. I mean, I get an income tax check, a little extra money or whatever, and I wanted to get me a suit or go do something. You know what that pack would say? What you need a suit for? We need this money to get high. Why are you paying the rent? We need this money to get high. Why are you getting a haircut? Just pack it down a little more. We need this money to get high. So I had a relationship with my drug. And actually I married the drug in the dope house. The dope man told me in the pack, he said, I now pronounce you man in pack. Literally. So what people thought of me, I really didn't care. All I cared about is that, as long as they went out of drugs, I didn't care what they thought. Now, your situation might not be there yet. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing these episodes, so you don't get this far. Now, you still might get this far, but listen to this, what I'm saying, that you could get in a position where you no longer have any relationships. You don't have relationships with your coworkers if you still have a job. You don't have relationships with your children, with your spouse, with your mother, father, sister, brothers, because it's too painful for them to see, because now people are beginning to see. And they see. And so it's easier just to go get your drug or your drink or go to the casino or go get scratch-offs or play your numbers or eat than to have to face people, because feelings are involved now. And people are saying things behind your back. Some of it's getting to you. Back when I got high, they didn't have social media. Now they have social media. They can put stuff out on you, and, it's painful. It's painful to see your name in lights, especially negative. So we're going to come back to relationships next week. But right now, I want to give you another pointer. Please go to Addiction Solutions with Roselle on YouTube. Just click subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and there's no obligation. We just want to try to build up the YouTube channel. I thank you for being here today, and I hope you have a blessed day. Goodbye.